Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and very good morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time that you are watching this video. So let's continue with the week 3 lesson, okay, which is the topic is business report, but basically I'm gonna talk a little bit about analytical report. Let's just run through for what we have learned for the past 2 weeks. All right, this is already the third week. So the first week and the second week, what did we learn? We learned about two types of reports. The first one is informational. The second one is analytical. So we have done the informational last week, which was the field trip report, and we learned about the what we call that the another report, accident report, incident report as well. So for this week we are focusing on the analytical report. So let's go. All right, so for the analytical report, as I have already explained to you before, analytical report is a report that contains what the analysis, discuss analysis, present recommendation, results, and everything. So analytical report is a little bit complicated and it is a little bit technical in terms of what we call that for certain purposes. All right. So in this definition, an analytical report is a type of report or evaluation of a particular set of circumstances that relate to the company's performance. We are talking about business report right now, all right? This is one of the example. The data is collected, analyzed, and presented to determine what are the next course of action to be taken should be. Like I said before, the one that we discussed in the class, something that related with to determine a situation or to determine to come up with a decision on certain things. For example, material A and material B, which one that we should use. Okay, so we need to come up with a study. The study is called feasibility report to determine which one is better. All right. Maybe in terms of financial, in terms of what we call that the rigidity, the validity, or the reliability of the material itself. So yes, we try to collect the data and then we try to analyze and we try to come up with the recommendation. That is what we call analytical. And one of the example is this one, which is business report. Just imagine that you are working in the private sector. For example, what? You are in sales marketing, all right? So for example, we have a projection for the year. For example, January until December, but we are in January, we are already in October, all right? And then when you're looking at the result of the sales, all right, it was not actually meeting with the expectation, the one that we projected, what we call that early this year. So what we're going to do is that we have to come up with a discussion and come up with the analysis what happened actually. So we're going to look at the company's performance and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. All right, so next, what is the purpose, okay, of an analytical report in business? Okay, so basically it is the main thing is to do the market analysis. All right, like the one that we do have in Facebook, right? For example, if you have the Facebook page or whatsoever, there is a section called analytics. All right, so we can see what are the engagement, whether the engagement is positive, what are the statistics, how many people liked the page and whatsoever. So in this case, all right, you can see from the slides who are the potential customers, what are their purchasing habits, how many customers are there, how much customers willing to pay, and things like that. All right, basically you want to make a survey. All right, basically the one that I explained in the class, the one that we did, for example, in the report that has all the proposal elements. For example, statement of the problem statement, significance of the study, literature review, and blah blah blah, all those stuff. Okay, basically, if we try to apply in business field, we would come up with a very specific what we call that a survey. All right, so that we could help. The survey could help us to somehow understand more about the potential customers and maybe their purchasing habits when they want to buy, all the attitudes and blah 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 blah. All right, so I think you would get the what we call that the idea of that. The next one is for the operational analysis. For example, are customers positively affected by the current operational standards? For example, if you do this, what will happen to the customer? All right, but let's say, for example, a politician wants to decide in a certain decision all right, when they come up with a survey, how would the citizen reply on that particular move? If the move is okay, excuse me, then it's gonna be okay. All right. So somehow we want to know the feedback. All right, the feedback on every single things that we have decided or we have come up with a decision. All right. Is the company using the newest technologies to increase efficiency? What new technologies and strategies are competition utilizing? Are the current operational standards affecting the company's ability to somehow thriving and whatsoever? So in this case, for example, in the marketing sales, or sorry, in a business field, maybe right now TikTok is the best way to advertise our products, but is Facebook still reliable? So this is what we're gonna do, all right? And when by having this kind of survey, then we'll get the somehow the rough idea on what happened, all right? So that is operational analysis. The next one is somehow related. It is trend analysis. Trend analysis looks for the statistical trends in demographic, consumer preferences, and the technological developments to identify growth opportunities and ways to increase sales. Again, I will give example, for example, Facebook and TikTok, Instagram, and whatsoever, what those social medias that we are using. Which one is the best for business purposes? Let's say, are we using the right platform? All right. For example, if I'm not mistaken, based on some studies, all right, different range of age will prefer different range of social media. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is based on the research. For example, for those who are 40s and above or 35 and above, this year, all right, they prefer Facebook, all right. But for those who are below that age, they prefer TikTok and Instagram. So somehow, based on the analysis, we could possibly come up with a decision on which platform that we're going to use, all right. So it is very important for the in business marketing strategy, all right. So that is one of the purposes, all right. What type of external market trends affect the company's products or services? What adjustment can the company make? For example, we tend to, or we call that, import products from China, but people actually canceling China products or whatsoever. So we need to know what are the trend, the current trend. All right. And then the next one is the financial analysis. This is very important as well. Okay. When we talk about business report, these are the analysis that could possibly be in the business report. One of them is financial analysis. All right. When we said financial, we know it is about all about money, isn't it? When we do marketing, we need to know whether the company is doing okay or doing not okay. So here it is. All right. What are the factors that affect the company's profitability? All right. For example, what contributes to the company's liquidity? How is the company's profitability compared to the competition? All right. Competition means other companies. All right. What expenses are unnecessary and what can be done to address it? For example, things that we should not buy or things that we should not pay but we are still paying. Macam itulah. Alright. Which departments or franchises are having a negative financial impact and whatsoever? Let's say, for example, you are having, right now we do have what we call that chicken stick tu kan, ayam cucuk tu, alright. You can see there are so many branches of franchises around Malaysia. Whenever you go, wherever you go, you could see ayam cucuk here, ayam cucuk there dan sebagainya. But if I am the business owner, I would somehow look at the potential area. All right, and I want to look at the report of the sales, all right, financial report. So which area that could give very least profits? Maybe we can cancel on that because we have to focus on the overhead. Overhead is basically apa modal. Duit yang kita keluarkan untuk kita berniaga, we call it as overhead expenses. All right. So financial analysis. So how to use an analytical report? Okay, you have to identify the problem, you have to explain the methods, and then you have to analyze the data. These are three things, okay, that is actually related, that are actually related with proposal. All right, next we will go into proposal, but so far right now we don't have to go deep into proposal. This is just for the introduction for the proposal. So how to use an analytical report? You have to identify a problem. Still remember the field trip that I asked you to go, all right, that I asked you to do? All right, when you go for the field trip, the one that I asked you is I asked you to look for a problem in that particular area. For example, you go to the Tesco, what happened to the parking spots, for example. All right, that is a very minor and very, what we call that, simple problem. Maybe you could come up with a different, a larger, or even more complicated problem. All right, every single year, all right, I heard about Wi-Fi problem, internet problem, bus problem, transportation problem. Maybe this semester you can come up with something different, something that is not actually, what we call that, I couldn't think of. All right, when you explain to me, I said, like, maybe I'm gonna say, oh, this is something new or something like that, because every single year you would come up with a parking system, you will come up with a traffic congestion and blah blah blah. All right, the one that I gave example in the class before this was actually the traffic light from Parit Raja to UTHM. All right, that is something new. All right, that is something new. So maybe you could think of something, but I think you have sent and you have uploaded your field trip, and you have to use that particular thing for this week's exercise, or what we call that, for this week's task, is that you have to look into the problem and explain the methods on how to solve the problem. Okay, so let's see one by one. So identifying the problem, begin by identifying a problem or situation within the company and explain to whom that problem affects. When describing the problem, consider where it started, what measures have been taken to address it, and whether or not those approaches have been effective. All right, let's say currently we are having how many traffic lights? Is it effective, or maybe we could come up with different one? All right, so next, explaining methods. Explain in detail the methodology that has been previously used to address the concern, making sure to be thorough and precise in detail. Also, determine which alternative methodologies can be applied to resolve the set of circumstances. Still remember the one that I said about science classes? Alright, the one pemboleh ubah apa, alright, dimanipulasikan, yang bergerak balas dan dimalarkan. So try to think of that particular methods, alright. Let's say right now, how many problems that you can see, what are the methods that you could somehow solve the issue, and then what is your expected outcome. Alright, we move to the next one, which is the last one, analyzing data. This portion focuses on the success or failure of previous practice. Means, let's say you have come across with different what we call that, number of research regarding traffic lights, for example. All right, and then you want to explain that this kind of method uh, is indeed a solution for that particular situation, or maybe it's a failure to cater that kind of problem. So apa maksud dekat sini ni? Ini adalah literature review dia. Alright, later on I will explain, so don't worry. Okay, alright, so this is the example market research. How do we increase our brand awareness? This analysis report template is based on improving your business market research strategies to gather critical insights using a more efficient, effective, and value-driven approach. For example, they are looking at brand awareness, umur berapa, brand apa, celebrity analysis apa, kawasan dia mana. So they are very specific on this one. This is the example. The next one, support, what we call that, support team performance. Are we meeting our customers' needs? So these are the numbers that they are looking for. For example, the first name, Tanner Hodge, 80% satisfaction, Kai Gaines, 87, and blah, 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 blah. And then 68% from the promoters, 12% passives, 20% detractors. So this one is basically flexible. You can put into whatever template that you have. Okay, this one just for example, so don't take a serious look on this one. So the next one is sales, how to exceed target next year. The next analysis report example comes from the sales industry. For example, above sale target next year is 357.086 euro. Customers, new customers 133, sales revenue 789, profit 199, and blah 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 blah. You can see by the numbers and everything. This is just example of business report. Okay, a business report. We don't want to go with the proposal just yet, because for the proposal, I need to be in the class so that I could give explanation thoroughly. All right. By having online like this, I don't think it is effective. Okay. So this is the example, and the last one is the references. Okay. So now, what that you need to do for this week, all right? It's pretty simple, only 15 minutes lecture, but what that you need to do next, I will explain later on, but it is related with the field trip that you have done before, okay? It's just the matter on how to write into words. So I think that's all for today's lecture for week 3, okay? Later on, there will be another video for proposal to back up, but I will introduce a proposal in the class. Thank you so much. Thank you so much and have a good one. Bye-bye.